I was going on YouTube. So today I am bringing y'all NFL draft grades. I did want to do this every single team at once, all like all divisions, both conferences, every single team. But it's taken me a lot longer than I expected to be able to put this together and grade every single pick. So how it's gonna go is today is gonna be the NFC. And then either later in the week or next week's video will be the AFC. Or wait, did I say that wrong? Today is NFC, next video will be AFC. And then the next video after that, I might do a way too early 2024 NFL mock draft. And then that's when I'll start doing redrafts on past years, like I had mentioned. My last video, I did say this would be the craziest draft. It kind of lived up to that hype. There was a lot of things that I predicted wrong. And there were some things I predicted right. It was change of scenery, but yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Again, this is the NFC today. So let's get right into it. So first off, we have the Carolina Panthers. We're doing division by division. So we have the NFC South. Carolina Panthers, as we all know, had the number one overall pick in the draft. They did select Bryce Young. I gave it an A+. Just because quarterback was that big position of need that the Panthers needed. In this draft, Bryce Young was potentially not only the best prospect at his position of quarterback, but also the best prospect in the draft. For sure a top 5 prospect in the draft, probably a top 3. But yeah, A+. They only had 5 picks, by the way. In round 2, pick 8, they took Jonathan Mingo. So we had the usual suspects that everybody kind of, or at least I thought would go first round, go in the first round, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, and Quentin Johnson. Funny thing is all 4 of those guys literally went back to back to back to back. It was like a run on receivers, and I'd called it too. When JSN got picked, I kind of called that they'd go on a run on receivers right there. But yeah, round 2, pick 8, the Panthers took the 5th wide receiver off the board, Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss. He was a big, riser in the past couple of weeks. He was a guy that if you look maybe a month and a half ago, or at least before the combine and stuff, you would probably see his name 6th, 7th to the undrafted area. But yeah, he ends up going early 2nd round. Great for him. I think he's got pretty good potential. I think he's a similar player to DJ Moore, which we know that Carolina lost. Obviously, Bryce Young wasn't throwing to DJ Moore, so won't be too far off for those 2 guys. But I mean, I think it's a good guy to plug and play there. He's probably gonna be your wide receiver 2 behind Thielen, I would assume. Still got Marshall, still got Shenault, still got Smith. And all 5 of those receivers I just named are really going to be rotating in and out in that offense. Round 3, pick 17, they traded up 13 selections with my Steelers to select DJ Johnson, edge out of Oregon. I had DJ Johnson going in at the earliest day 3, let alone mid round 3. DJ Johnson usually was on the board for me in the later 5th round, and it's usually when he came off the board. So was selecting him. Sorry, it's also very late, guys. But I've been grinding this out to try to get this out for y'all tomorrow. Because I am recording this Sunday night. 1, to draft him in the 3rd round kind of shocked me. But 2, to trade up 13 spots to take him when there was a lot of edge rushers that I liked more than DJ Johnson left on the board. I had to give it a D. Yeah, I didn't understand what they were doing. Round 4, pick 12, they took Chandler Zavala, a local guy to them, out of NC State. offensive guard. I give it a C. Good for their depth. Zavala's a pretty decent prospect. He just got injury history. And then round 5, pick 11, they took Jamie Robinson, safety out of Florida State. I also gave this a C, kind of a depth guy. He'll be behind like who'd they sign? Wow, how am I blanking right now? Not Jesse Bates. They signed somebody there, Von Bell. Probably who he'll be backing up. Rotational guy at safety. Overall, I give them a C plus. Really, their first two picks their first two picks weren't bad, and their last two picks I don't think were bad either. It was just the DJ Johnson pick that really threw me off. If that was another edge rusher there, I'd probably have them in the B to B plus range. Yeah. And if Chandler Zavala wasn't injury prone, I'd probably give that a little bit higher of a grade. But moving on, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Carolina, I spent a lot more time on because their picks, I actually knew about their picks. There are always going to be some people, for example, Josh Hayes here, who I'm not going to talk about like at all in depth. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had 8 picks. Round 1, pick 19. They took Kalijah Cansey, defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. I get it as a C plus. I like the prospect. I just didn't really see the need there for them. Kind of confused me, but not a bad pick, C plus. Round 2, pick 17. I like the pick in Cody Mock. He's going to probably be a plug-and-play guy on the offensive line somewhere. He can play guard and he can play tackle, and they do need linemen, so I gave that a B minus. Round 3, pick 19, they took Yaya Diaby, I think is how I say it, edge rusher out of Louisville. I gave this a C. Not a bad pick. Again, I kind of like the prospect in round 3, but it's not a huge need for them. Round 5, they had 2 picks at 19 and 37. They took, I don't know how to pronounce some of these people's names, but I'm going to try my best. Servakie Dennis is how I'm assuming you're going to say it, a linebacker out of Pitt. And then at pick 37 in the 5th round, they took Payne Durham, tight end out of Purdue. I kind of like the Payne Durham pick. They did need tight end help. So I gave that a C plus. Dennis, I gave a C minus. Not too much of a need at linebacker for them either. And then round 6, pick 4, they took their first corner, and I thought that secondary was a big need for them. And Josh Hayes from Kansas State, I gave it a C because of the position need, but I didn't not too big on the prospect of Josh Hayes. Round 6, pick 14, they took Trey Palmer, wide receiver out of Nebraska. I gave this a C minus. Didn't really see the need too much there. And then round 6, pick 19, they took Jose Ramirez, edge rusher out of Eastern Michigan. I gave this a C plus. I kind of like the prospect, and in the 6th round, I thought there was value there. But again, you'd already took one edge rusher, and edge wasn't a gigantic need for you. Overall, I gave the Buccaneers a C. Could have been a C minus now I'm thinking about it. Continuing the NFC North, we had the New Orleans Saints. Round 1, pick 30, they took Brian Massey, defensive tackle of Clemson. Loved that pick, gave it an A. Great. And also, the things are going to be mixed up. It says pick 29 on the right, but pick 30 on the left. The pick numbers, I went off of ESPN's list. So I don't think they accounted for the Miami forfeited first round pick. Right. Yeah. Okay, I was trying to do the math in my head real quick there. Yeah, so whatever pick you want to call it, it's fine. I love the pick. I had mocked it to them before. I thought Brian Massey was the best defensive tackle prospect in this draft. And he was the 3rd on the board. And they got him at 30 or 29, whatever you want to say. I mean, this was their biggest need. And they continued to add to that pass rushers they needed to do in round 2 at pick 9 with Isaiah Foskey, edge out of Notre Dame. Also like their prospect. Give it a B minus. Potential of a B pick. Round 3, pick 8, they took Kendre Miller, running back out of TCU. Like the prospect, but you've got Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara. I know there's some problems with Alvin Kamara circulating, but I don't know. Round 3, probably could use it somewhere else. Round 4, pick 1. I'm pretty sure they traded up for this one. They took Nick Saldiveri, offensive tackle out of Old Dominion. Gave it a C plus, not a bad pick. Round 4, pick 25. They took Jake Hayner, the quarterback out of Fresno State. I give this a C. Not terrible, but didn't really see the need for it, in my opinion. Yeah. And then the round 5 pick 12, they took Jordan Howden, safety out of Minnesota. I'll give this no grade because this is a guy that I don't know anything about. And you're gonna see some of those grades, those no grades, because it's guys I don't know anything about. In the round 6, pick 18, they took A.T. Perry, wide receiver, Wake Forest. I give this a C plus, probably a B minus now. I'm thinking about it. The wide receiver need wasn't huge, but I love the prospect in A.T. Perry, and I think getting him in the 6th round is great value. I gave their grade a borderline B. I thought that the Brian Bresee and A.T. Perry and Isaiah Foskey pick were really, really good picks for them. The other 3 were kind of just average picks, in my opinion. Saldivari maybe a little bit above average, but Hayner and Miller, again, I like the prospects of the 2. It's just that the maybe Jake Hayner in the 4th round is reasonable. Kendra Miller early 3rd round kind of shocked me, and it's just the team fit, in my opinion. Then finishing up the NFC South, we had the Atlanta Falcons. Round 1, pick 8, they took Bijan Robinson. I did have them taking him. I had them trading back and taking him in my final mock draft. I love the pick. Love him in the Arthur system. Arthur Smith system. There we go. That outside zone run scheme, I think he will be an absolute monster. I thought he was going to be an absolute monster wherever he went, but being in Atlanta makes it 10 times better for him. I gave it an A. It might be an A plus. I'm gonna be honest. And then hold on, let me adjust my computer real quick. Round 2, pick 7. They took Matthew Bergeron. I had him as an offensive tackle. Supposedly he's gonna be a plug and play offensive guard for them. Out of Syracuse, I gave it a C plus. At the time, I gave it an F because I didn't understand what they were doing. But now that I'm understanding that he's going to be a plug and play guard for them, I honestly didn't know he had the versatility. But yeah, I mean, hey, if he's a plug and play guard, it's a pretty above average pick in my opinion. Round 3, pick 17, they took Zach Harrison, edge rusher out of Ohio State. I thought this was like their biggest need was pass rush. And them only taking one kind of shocked me. Zach Harrison, in my opinion, probably shouldn't have been the pick. I gave it a C minus. I thought there was better prospects on the board at the time. Whatever. Round 4, pick 11, Clark Phillips III out of Utah, corner. I gave this a B minus. I loved the pick for them. I thought the value was great. And I think he can really help there in Atlanta. He is a great slot corner. And I think he'll be of use there. And then they had 2 7th round picks, pick 7 and pick 8. They took DeMarco Helms and Javon Gwynn out of an offensive guard out of South Carolina, safety out of Alabama. I gave Helms a C minus. Thought it was a pretty decent pick for them. Gwynn, I gave a D. Didn't think he was even going to get drafted, so him to come off the board there kind of shocked me. Took their draft grade down just a little bit. They got a B minus though, in my opinion. Moving on to the NFC North. We got the Green Bay Packers to start off. They had a ton of picks. I'm going to run through these real quick. I also need to hide my video panel. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Sorry, guys. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here we go. Okay, sorry. I couldn't see the bottom of. Oh, okay. Oh, we're struggling, guys. Sorry, guys. All right. Here we go. Okay. Back to where we were. Green Bay Packers. Where I'm at here, Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher, Iowa, B minus. I'd said it in a video before. I just thought Lucas Van Ness was such a Packers pick. And I just had a feeling that at 13 they would go edge. And they did. I gave it a B minus. Wasn't a huge need, but Lucas Van Ness is a beast. I don't blame him for taking him. Round 2, pick 11. Round 2, pick 19. They had 2 second-round picks. They took Luke Musgrave and Jaden Reed. They doubled down on offensive weapons, one at tight end, one at wide receiver, which was their 2 biggest needs, in my opinion. Luke Musgrave, really good pick, A minus. Jaden Reed, also a really good pick, in my opinion. He was my second highest sleeper No, I think he was my highest wide receiver sleeper prospect. Gave it a B. Love both the picks for them. Both are going to be plug-and-play starters probably this year for the Packers. Then in round 3 at pick 15, they took Tucker Kraft. They doubled down on tight end in the first 3 rounds, which really surprised me. He is a tight end out of South Dakota State. I gave it a D+ because I like the prospect in Tucker Kraft, but I thought it was really, really stupid to double down at tight end, especially that early. Round 4, pick 14, they took Colby Wooden, defensive tackle at Auburn. I gave it a C. Pretty good prospect. The need was kind of there, whatever. And then I want to talk about the worst pick in the draft this year. In round 5 at pick 15, they took Sean Clifford, quarterback out of Penn State. That is an F. I don't know why you would ever do that. That pick absolutely sent me in shock. I thought it was I was actually on the phone with one of our friends. I was driving home, and I was on the phone with my friends, and he goes, "Oh my God, the Packers just picked Sean Clifford," and I couldn't I lost it. I couldn't believe it that they made that pick. And then trying to speed up here, round 5, pick 25, they took Dontavion Wicks, wide receiver out of Virginia, C. Round 6, they took Carl Brooks, edge rusher out of Bowling Green, C. Round 6, they took Andres Carlson, the kicker out of Auburn, no grade because he's a kicker. And then 7th round, they had 4 picks. They took Carrington Valentine, corner out of Kentucky. I gave that a C+. They took Lou Nichols, running back out of Central Michigan. I gave it a D. Didn't understand that one. Round 7, pick 25, Anthony Johnson Jr., safety, Iowa State, C+. Those are pretty decent value in the back end. And then round 7, pick 39, they took Grant DuBois, wide receiver at UNCC, UNC Charlotte. For those who don't know, gave it a D. Didn't really like that pick either. I can't see the bottom. I'm pretty sure I gave him a C- though. Yeah, let's move on. Minnesota Vikings. They had 6 picks in the draft. I gave them a B-. I thought their draft was pretty decent. Round 1, pick 24. This is part of the wide receiver run. They took Jordan Addison. This was the back end of it. They took out of USC. I gave it a B+. I think it's going to be a great fit with him and Justin Jefferson. Round 3, pick 39. They took Mekhi Blackman, cornerback out of USC. So 2 USC players in a row. Gave this a B-. Corner was a big need for them, and I kind of liked it. Round 4, pick 32. They took Jay Ward, safety out of LSU. Again, a kind of a need because I think Harrison Smith requested a trade, right? I'm pretty sure. Safety was a need anyways, though, out of LSU. Gave this a C, probably a C+, actually, now that I'm thinking back on it. Round 5, pick 7, and round 5, pick 30. They took Jaquelin Roy, defensive tackle at LSU, and Jaron Hall, quarterback out of BYU. Liked both those picks for them. Also C+ on both of those. And round 7, pick 5, they took Dwayne McBride, running back out of UAB. Gave it a C. Dwayne McBride's a good prospect. He's just probably running back 3 on this roster. But we do know that Dalvin Cook, the options are open on the table, or all options on the table are open for Minnesota, and Dalvin Cook is what was said, I'm pretty sure. So if Dalvin Cook gets shipped out, then Dwayne McBride becomes running back 1 or 2 with Alexander Mattison. Again, I gave this a B+. Detroit Lions. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions real quick, because they had one of the best picks in the draft, in my opinion, but they also had some of the most confusing picks in the draft. I'll put it like that. They had 2 first-round picks at pick 12 and pick 18. They took Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back out of Alabama. I gave this a C+. Love the prospect, but I just didn't understand the pick. Now, I know they dealt DeAndre Swift after the fact, so it makes a little bit more sense, but I don't know. I thought there was a lot more options on the table at 12 for them. I did like the trade out that they made, though. I will say that. The trade out that they made from 6 to 12 with the Cardinals was a really good trade for them. They picked up that 34th pick, which was right here around 2, pick 3. They picked Sam Laporta, which we'll get to later. But I liked the trade at the time for them a lot. I thought the trade was very good for them. I thought that they got a lot of value out of it. And then, so round 2, pick 12, I gave it a C+. Round 1, pick 18, they took Jack Campbell, linebacker at Iowa. I gave this a C-. I like Jack Campbell. I like the fit of Jack Campbell on the Lions. I just thought it was way too early. That's why I gave it a C-. Round 2, pick 3, and round 2, pick 14, they took Sam Laporta, tight end out of Iowa. I gave this a C. And pick 14, they took Brian Branch, safety out of Alabama. I gave this an A+. I thought Brian Branch was a top 20 player in this draft. The fact that he fell this far surprised me. And they got amazing value, in my opinion, there at a position of need. He can play slot corner and he can play safety, whatever they want to do with him. He's going to be successful at, in my opinion, especially under Dan Campbell. Sam Laporta, I gave this a C. Tight end was a need for them, in my opinion, but there was a lot more tight ends on the board that I thought they could have took over him. I liked Luke Musgrave better. I loved Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer was my tight end 1. I liked him a lot better than Sam Laporta, and I liked Darnell Washington better. I don't think Sam Laporta is terrible. I just didn't think that he was the best tight end prospect on the board at the time, and that's why I didn't like the pick too much. They also had 2 third-round picks. At pick 5 of the 3rd round, they took Hendon Hooker, the quarterback out of Tennessee. I gave this a C+. I understand what they're doing there, but Jared Goff, in my opinion, probably has another couple years left in him. Now, Hendon Hooker is a solid backup if Jared Goff does go down with injury, and we have seen Jared Goff go down with injury. But, man, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, a C+ might be a little bit too high. It might be a C or a C-, but we'll keep it at C+. And then round 3, pick 33, good Lord. They took Broderick Martin, defensive tackle out of Western Kentucky. I give this a D. This is way too early. Now, Martin is a big-bodied guy, but I thought this pick was way too early, and I just didn't like it, in my opinion. Round 5, pick 18, they took Colby Sorsdahl, offensive tackle out of William and Mary. Gave this no grade. This is a guy that I knew nothing about. And then round 7, pick 2, they got Anton Green, wide receiver out at University of North Carolina. Gave this a C-. Now that I'm thinking about it more, I kind of liked it. Anton Green was a good receiver. He was just very inconsistent at the University of North Carolina. So the potential, I think, could be there. He just has to be more consistent. But he's also, behind wow. DJ Chark's gone. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and probably Josh Reynolds. I think he's still there too. Yeah, I gave this a C. Lines kind of confused me. Draft wasn't terrible, but it just confused me. I'll put it like that. And then to finish out the NFC North, we got the Chicago Bears. They had 2, 4, 6, 8. They had 10 picks. Round 1, pick 10, they took Darnell Wright, which kind of shocked me. They took him over Peter Skoronski and Broderick Jones. Everybody was kind of on the consensus that it was going to be, Paris Johnson Jr., Skoronski, and Broderick Jones on the board, and Darnell Wright be that 4th guy. And people thought that maybe Darnell Wright goes as early as 13, but also could go as late as mid to late 20s. But they took him at pick 10. It shocked me. Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't like the pick because I thought offensive tackle and pass rush was their big needs. So I did give it a B-. And they had 2 second-round picks. Pick 22, they took Gervon Dexter Sr., defensive tackle out of Florida. I gave this a B-. He has some flaws that need to be worked on, but I thought it was a good pick. And then round 2, pick 25, they took Tyreek Stevenson, cornerback out of Miami. I gave this a B. He's kind of like a press corner. Jalen Johnson's kind of like a press corner. I think those two are a good little pair together. Round 3, pick 1, they took Zach Pickens, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. I like the prospect. To double down on defensive tackle that early kind of confused me. Thought it might have been a little bit early for Pickens to go off the board, but I did give it a C. And they had 2 4th-round picks. Pick 13, they took Roshan Johnson, running back out of Texas. They gave this a C. It was kind of round 4, pick 31, they took Tyler Scott, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. I gave this a B-. So this is great value for them. Add to that wide receiver room that is a little thin. Yeah, I like the pick. Good depth guy in the wide receiver room for sure, though. Round 5, they had 2 picks. Pick 14, they took Noah Sewell, linebacker of Oregon. Love this value. Gave it a C+. And then round 5, pick 31, they took Terrell Smith, cornerback out of Minnesota. I gave this a C-. Round 7, they had 2 picks. Pick 1, they took Travis Bell, defensive tackle at Kansas State. Gave this no grade. This is a guy I didn't know anything about. And round 7, pick 41, they took Kendall Williamson, safety out of Stanford. They gave this a C. I thought it was a pretty good value. Kendall Williamson is very athletic at the safety position, so I did kind of like this pick for them, especially it being a back end 7th round, almost last pick, the draft pick. I gave this a C+. Potential to be a B-, I'd say. Seahawks. This is starting the NFC West. Round 1, pick 5, they took Devin Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois. At first, I didn't really like the pick. After I thought about it a little more, I liked it a lot more. I give this a B+. Round 1, pick 20, Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver, Ohio State. I give it an A. It's probably actually an A+. He fits right into that slot receiver need that they needed and is a plug-and-play and a great addition alongside Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Round 2, they had 2 picks. Pick 6, they took Derek Hall, edge, Auburn. I gave this a D+. I kind of like the prospect in Derek Hall. Edge was a position of need. However, I thought this was way too early. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, way too early. I gave it a D+. Round 2, pick 21, Zach Charbonnet, running back out of UCLA. I didn't like this pick at first. Ended up giving it a C+. A good addition, I think, alongside Ken Walker. When you think more about it. Round 4, they had 2 picks. Pick 6, they took Anthony Bradford, offensive guard at LSU. I gave this a C-, probably a little early on Bradford. Round 4, pick 21, they took Cameron Young, defensive tackle out of Mississippi State. I give this a C, kind of like one of those picks. Round 5, they had 2 picks. Pick 17, they took Mike Morris, edge out of Michigan. I give this a C-. It was maybe a slight bit early on Morris. They doubled down on edge also when they probably could have got a different position. I just realized I didn't put a position for Olawatimi. He's an interior offensive lineman. They took him at pick 20 of the 5th round out of Michigan. Also, I give this a C+. Thought it was a pretty decent pick for them. Kind of like more of that long run play. They just signed veteran Evan Brown. I think it was only a 1-year contract though, so maybe Olawatimi sits this year and sits behind Evan Brown and ends up being starting center for the Seahawks next year. Round 6, pick 21, they took Jarek Reed, the second safety out of New Mexico State. You know what? Actually, he might be out of just New Mexico. I think I might have messed that up. Grade, I gave it a C-. It's like eh. In round 7, pick 20, they took Kenny McIntosh, running back out of Georgia. I gave this a D+. I didn't understand this pick too much because he's probably going to be like running back 3 or 4 on this team. Another receiving back. I don't know. Gave it a C. Pretty decent draft by the Seahawks. So I love those first 2 picks a lot. 49ers. Now, 49ers, we know, didn't have any early picks. They had 3 third-round picks, all back end. Pick 24, they took Jair Brown. I think it's Jair Brown. Safety out of Penn State. I gave this a B+. Like the pick for them. Has potential to be a plug-and-play starter, but I doubt it. He'll probably be a backup rotational guy. And then there are 2 compensatory picks right here. Pick 36 and pick 38. They took Jake Moody. I put Jake Moody as a safety for some reason. Jake Moody is a kicker, as you see to the right over there. Yeah. So there's gonna be some typos in here for sure. He's out of Michigan. Jake Moody is probably the best kicking prospect we've seen in a long time. I gave it a C+. I think it might have been a slight bit too early, but Jake Moody is a really good prospect, and I don't blame them for taking him this early. I'm not going to lie. Pick 38, they took Cameron Latu, tight end at Alabama. Tight end, like depth pieces, was a need for them. However, I'm going to talk about this in a minute when I get to Braden Willis. Latu's fit with the 49ers is a little like shaky, but I like the prospect, C+. Round 5, they had 2 picks. Pick 21, they took Darrell Luter Jr., cornerback out of South Alabama. I gave this a C+. Pretty decent prospect, or like, day 3 prospect. Cornerback and edge depth were needs for them. And at pick 39 of the 5th round, they took Robert Beal Jr., edge out of Georgia. Gave this a C-. Prospect-wise, Beal isn't great, but I think he's in the right system because he has the potential. Round 6, pick 39, they took D. Winters, linebacker at TCU. Like the prospect in D. Winters, love the athleticism out of him. C+. So they had 3 7th-round picks. Pick 30, Braden Willis, tight end, Oklahoma. I gave this a B-. I love the fit for Braden Willis in San Francisco. That's why it is ranked higher than Latu, even though I don't like Willis as much as a prospect as I like Latu. I just think the system is way better for Willis than it is for Latu. Round 7, pick 36. They took Ronnie Bill, wide receiver of Michigan. Gave us a C, not too bad. He's just a depth piece of wide receiver. And then round 7, pick 38, they took another edge depth guy in Jalen Graham out of Purdue. Gave us a C plus. I think he's a pretty decent 7th round pick, especially back in 7th round pick. Gave it a C plus total for the 49ers. The Rams, they had a ton of picks, all back in though. Pretty much. So we're gonna have to fly through these here. First off, round 2, pick 5, they took Steve Avila, offensive guard out of TCU. Loved the pick for them. Gave it an A minus, probably actually an A. Round 3, pick 14, they took Byron Young, edge rusher out of Tennessee. Love the pick again, B minus. Edge rusher was a big need for them, so was guard. Round 3, pick 26, they took Kobe Turner, defensive tackle out of Wake Forest. Gave this a C plus. Didn't really see the fit. Maybe this is like your Aaron Donald replacement because you know he might be out at the door soon. Round 4, pick 26, they took Stetson Bennett, quarterback, Georgia. I said in my 7th-round NFC West mock draft video that they needed to take a quarterback at some point. I just thought that taking Stetson Bennett here was way too early for him, and I thought there was better prospects on the board. I don't blame them for taking a quarterback. It's just where they took him and who they took. And then round 5, they had 4 picks. Pick 27, they took my guy Nick Hampton, edge out of Appalachian State. Gave this a C plus, like the prospect. Good edge depth piece for them for sure. Pick 40, they took Warren McClendon, offensive tackle out of Georgia. I think it was a pretty decent depth piece. I gave it a C. Pick 41, they took Davis Allen, tight end out of Clemson. I gave this a B minus, which is a hard grade because they didn't really need a tight end. But I love the prospect in Davis Allen, and I think it was a really good pick for them. And then pick 34, let me try to pronounce this correct. Puka Nakua, I think is how I say it. Wide receiver at BYU, I gave it a C plus. Round 6, they had 3 picks. Pick 5, they took Travius, I think is how I say it. Hodges Tomlinson, cornerback at TCU. I gave this a B. Love the prospect. Thought it was great value for them. And corner, in my opinion, was probably their biggest need. So the fact that they didn't take one to the 6th round kind of took my draft grade overall for them down a little bit. Pick 12 of the 6th round, they took O'Shawn Mathis, edge out of Nebraska. C plus, pretty decent prospect. Again, adding to that edge depth that they kind of needed. Round 6, pick 38. Took Zach Evans. Again, another typo. It just says Evan. Running back at Ole Miss. We know he was a top prospect or at some point, or top recruit prospect going into college. He was committed to Georgia. Decommitted with the TCU, transferred to Ole Miss. He had a pretty decent season last year. I gave it a C minus. Didn't really see the need for it, like the prospect there. Round 7, pick 6, they took Ethan Evans, punter out of Wingate, which is local to me. Again, this is no grade. I was shocked to see Wingate come up on the NFL draft. I will say that much. And round 7, pick 17, they took Jason Taylor the second, safety out of Oklahoma State. I gave this a C plus. I think he can fit into that nickelback role probably for them. That probably has like the 2nd string guy. Not a bad pick for them, I don't think, though, especially in the 7th round. I gave this a C plus. And then wrapping up the NFC West, we got the Cardinals. Round 1, we know they're at 3. They made that trade with the Texans. They traded back to 12. They did get a good haul for that. I will say that much. But then they traded back up when they made a kind of bad trade for them to go back from 12 to 6. Which is funny because I had them trading back to 11 in my final mock draft and then trading up from 11 to 8 to take, was it Jalen Carter maybe? I don't remember. No, maybe it was Christian Gonzalez. I don't remember who I had taken. But they ended up taking Paris Johnson Jr. Now let me talk about that pick real quick. I gave it a C. To trade back up to take Paris Johnson Jr., I understand why they did it because there was probably some other teams that would have taken him if they wouldn't have. But I thought the edge was way bigger of a need than offensive tackle. On our lads depth chart, they have Paris Johnson Jr. starting at guard, which is to me. And Tyree Wilson was still sitting there. Jalen Carter was still sitting there. I thought that, and even then, Christian Gonzalez was sitting there. I mean, like, I thought all 3 of those positions were big in need than offensive tackle. I know Kyler Murray loves Paris Johnson Jr. and that he was like advocating for them to draft him. So I see why they did it. I just didn't think it was a good idea for them. I gave it a C. Round 2, pick 10, they got BJ Ojulari, edge rusher out of LSU. I didn't put LSU on there. I gave it an A minus. Again, I love the prospect in BJ. And I told you I thought edge was their biggest need. So to get him in the second round, I thought it was a great pick for them. Round 3, they had 2 picks. Pick 9, they took Garrett Williams, cornerback out of Syracuse, gave this a B+. Pick 31, took Michael Wilson, wide receiver out of Stanford, gave this a B. I love the prospect in both of these. I thought Garrett Williams was a great pick for them. And then Michael Wilson, I gave this a B. I love the prospect of Michael Wilson. The problem is his injury history and his injury concerns. If he can stay healthy, this might have been a great pick for them. Yeah. Round 4, pick 20, John Gaines II out of an offensive guard out of UCLA. I gave this a C. The reason being is I don't necessarily hate the pick. Just the problem is if you have Paris Johnson Jr. Slotted to play guard, I don't understand why you took another offensive guard in the 4th round. You could have took something else when you need a lot of things on this team. Round 5, they had 2 picks. Pick 5, they took Clayton Tune, quarterback out of Houston. Gave it a C+, like the prospect. Probably your backup quarterback. I understand why they did it. But again, maybe not the right pick. And then pick 34, round 5, they took Owen Pappoe, linebacker Auburn. I give this an A. I said this in one of my past videos. I'm huge on Owen. In round 5, I thought it was way too good of value for them. But we'll move on from that. I'm way higher on him than others, though. Round 6, pick 3, Catrell Clark, cornerback LSU. Gave this a C+, probably pretty decent pick in the 6th round. And then round 6, pick 36, they took Dante Stills, defense tackle out of West Virginia. I gave this a C. I ended up giving them a B- because of the BJ pick, the Garrett Williams, Michael Wilson, and Owen Pappoe pick, and Catrell Clark, which I thought was pretty decent. And I honestly, if they would have traded up to 6 and took somebody like Tyree Wilson or Jalen Carter, this might have ended up being a B+ for them. And then moving on, last but not least, I know this is taking forever. I'm trying my best to get this out as fast as possible. And now that I'm seeing how long this takes, I'm glad I didn't do the AFC along with the NFC. Last but not least, we got the NFC East. Starting off as the Giants. They had 7 picks. Pick 25 in the 1st round, they took Deonte Banks, corner out of Maryland. I gave this an A-, probably actually an A. Love the fit for Deonte Banks there. This is one of their 2 biggest needs. Love the pick for them. Round 2, pick 26. This is my favorite pick of theirs. John Michael Smith, center out of Minnesota. I gave this an A. I had molded them taking him at 25 in the 1st round. So for them to get him at 26 in the 2nd round is insane to me. I think that he was undoubtedly, I know that's a strong word, but best interior offensive line. Sorry. Undoubtedly the best interior offensive lineman in this draft, especially at the center position. Round 3, pick 10, they took Jalen Hyatt. This is probably their 2nd biggest need for me, or for them, for me. Wide receiver at Tennessee, I gave this a B+. Thought it was good value. Wasn't huge on Jalen Hyatt as everybody else was, but thought it was a good value. Round 5, pick 38, took Eric Gray, running back at Oklahoma. Gave this a C-, didn't really see the need for it. Round 6, pick 32, they took Trey Hawkins, the 2nd quarterback out of Old Dominion, also C-. And round 7, pick 26, they took Jordan Riley, defensive tackle out of Oregon, also C-. Those 3 C-, I just kind of it was Trey Hawkins is a depth guy. Jordan Riley's a depth guy. He was probably DT3 on their team, so I don't really know. In round 7, pick 37, they took Jervarius Owens, I'm pretty sure as I say it, safety out of Houston. Gave this no grade. This is a guy I didn't know anything about. And overall, the Giants, I give a B-. Dallas Cowboys, round 1, pick 27. They took Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Gave it a C. Was just kind of yeah, I didn't it was just kind of one of those picks, oh, okay, not really good, but not bad either. Round 2, pick 27. Sorry, guys. They took Luke Schoonmaker, tight end out of Michigan. Gave it a C+. Not a terrible pick. Tight end was a big need for them. I just thought there was better prospects on the board at the time. Round 3, pick 27. They took DeMarvion Overshawn, linebacker out of Texas. Gave it as a B+. Great athlete. Pretty sure he'll fit in well in Dallas, though. Round 4, pick 27. They took Valami Fehoko, I think as I say it, out of San Jose State, edge rusher. I give it a D+. Not huge on Fehoko. Thought it was way too early on him. Round 5, pick 35. They took Akeem Richards, offensive guard out of UNC. Gave this a C-. Good depth guy. So yeah, maybe actually a C. Round 6, they had 2 picks. Pick 1, they took Eric Scott Jr., cornerback out of Southern Miss, C-. Kind of just like a depth guy, so it's kind of like, whatever. Round 6, pick 35, they took Deuce Vaughn, running back out of Kansas State. Gave this a C+. I like the prospect in Deuce Vaughn. I was higher on him than others. I think they got good value in him late in the 6th round. If you haven't seen the video of his dad calling him to tell him he's getting drafted, it's awesome. He's a scout for the Cowboys. I thought that was a great video. Almost made me cry, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I thought it was a great video. Not video, great pick. But the video is a great video. Again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a great video. But yeah, great pick for them in my opinion. He's probably the running back 2, honestly, maybe running back 3. Great receiving back, kind of like explodes off the line, kind of fits that Tony Pollard role. Because Tony Pollard's gonna be that running back 1, so you're gonna have someone have to step in a little bit here and there. On the round 7, pick 27, they took Jalen Brooks, wide receiver out of South Carolina. I gave this a C. Big bodied receiver, late in the 7th round, not too bad. I gave their total draft in general a C. Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles, at the very least, had a top 3 draft, if not the best draft. Round 1, pick 9, they trade up 1 pick, gave up like nothing to do so. They got Jalen Carter, defense attack out of Georgia. I gave this an A+. Jalen Carter is probably the best player in the draft. And to put him in a system like the Eagles, pair him up with former teammate Jordan Davis, and pair him up with an all-time great at the position of Fletcher Cox, A+. Round 1, pick 31, the Eagles continued to kill the draft in a great valued pick of Nolan Smith, edge rush out of Georgia, at 31. I gave this an A. I thought this was a great pick. This was a pick I considered them taking at 10. So, yeah, crazy pick for them. And then round 3, they had 2 back-to-back. Pick 2, they took Tyler Steen, offensive tackle out of Alabama. I gave it a C+, kind of just like a depth guy. I saw on their R-Lab's depth chart also, again, they had him as a guard, as a backup guard. I thought he was more of a tackle. In round 3, pick 3, they got Sidney Brown, safety out of Illinois. I was super high on Sidney Brown. He was my safety too. Gave this a B+. Thought it was a great pick for them. Round 4, pick 3, they took Keely Ringo, cornerback out of Georgia. Again, great value for me in my opinion, or for them in my opinion. Out of Georgia, B+ for them. Cornerback was also a position of need. Round 6, pick 11, they took Tanner McKee, quarterback out of Stanford. I gave this a C+ because I love the prospect in Tanner McKee. He was my quarterback 6, I think, or 5 maybe. And like, I just didn't really get why they kind of got him, because they've already got Jalen Hurts. They have Marcus Mariota. And I think they signed Ian Book too. Now he's probably better than Ian Book, and Mariota's probably only there for a year or 2. So, maybe it wasn't a terrible draft pick. And I love the prospect, and I thought the value was there in round 6. And then this was a great value pick for them. Round 7, pick 32, they took Moro Ojomo. I had a 5th round grade on him. Defensive tackle out of Texas. I gave this a B+. They absolutely killed this draft. I gave him a B+ in total. And last but not least, the last one of the video, we have the Washington Commanders. Washington picked at 16 in the 1st round. They took Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback out of Mississippi State. I gave this a B. Liked the fit a lot. Just thought that there was better cornerbacks on the board because Christian Gonzalez was on the board. And we all know who's my cornerback 1. Round 2, pick 16, they took Jartavis Martin, safety out of Illinois. I gave this a B-. Like the prospect, kind of like the fit. Just thought maybe it was a little bit too early. And they probably could have went somewhere else with that pick. Round 3, pick 34, they took Ricky Stromberg. I think, as I said, center out of Arkansas. I gave this a C-. Didn't really understand it. Maybe Chase Royer isn't in your long-term plans, and that's your replacement maybe. But besides that, I don't really know. Round 4, pick 16, they took Braden Daniels, offensive guard out of Utah. I gave this a D+. Thought it was too early for him. Round 5, pick 3, they took KJ Henry, edge rusher out of Clemson. Gave this a C-. He's like edge 3 probably on their team. Like at his position. I don't know. Round 6, pick 16, they took Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back out of Kentucky. I give this a D. Didn't really know what they were doing there. He's running back 3 probably. Obviously behind Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing on that one. And then round 7, pick 16, they took Andre Jones, edge rusher out of Louisiana. Gave it a C-. that pick's kind of like one of those like, but they did double down on edge. Might be lower than the C minus. Overall, I give the Commanders a C minus. And that is my draft grades of the NFC. So yeah, I appreciate y'all watching. And one more time, real quick, let's look through this. Let me see. I know I gave the Eagles the highest at a B plus. B minus, B minus. I would say ranking the NFC draft grades. I would say the Eagles had the best in the NFC. I'd probably say the Giants had the second best, and the Falcons had the third best. Would be Falcons or the Saints are probably tied for the third best. Yeah. All right. I appreciate y'all watching because this video's been way too long, and I'll see y'all in the AFC draft grades. See y'all next time. Peace.